Hey everybody, this is Fago Franklin III with New Stitch Media. I'm right here with U.S. Olympian Priscilla Loomis. First and foremost, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Trying to enjoy this beautiful weather now that it's summer. So trying to stay as positive as possible. How are you doing?
Yay! I'm trying to adapt. I'm trying to adapt right now because I'm a sports person, and
Uh,
it's very weird. It's a weird time right now. A lot of cases going up, so we don't know if we're going to have NFL or either college football. So I'm like, oh my gosh.
I
So
know. I
it's
can imagine. We watch like The Herd and we watch Shannon and Skip. And so when they're talking about it, we're just like, oh my gosh, like, what are we going to do if there's no sports?
exactly. So how have you adapted since there's no sports? And of course, the Olympics is next year. It was postponed.
I mean, honestly, I take everything as a blessing. So obviously there was a reason for this. They made the smart decision to postpone it. I'm glad that they didn't cancel it.
Mhm.
So giving me that, or and all the athletes that extra year, it just allows us to get stronger, work on our weaknesses, and gives us more prep time. So when they made the announcement, a lot of athletes were pretty much in awareness, like this might happen. It's a possibility. Does it stink? Absolutely. But a lot of us
Mhm.
are safe, we're healthy, and we can give it another go next year. So right now, it's just all eyes towards next summer. We'll start competing in January. And
Mhm.
I think it'll be a phenomenal year. I think everyone is really just gung ho and ready to compete. And so, all that anticipation and all of that training, I think
Mhm.
we're going to have one of the greatest Olympic years in history.
Awesome. So what obstacles did you have to overcome in your career as well as your life and to make you the woman that you are today?
To be honest, I say in all the interviews that I'm an underdog, and I always have been. I
Mhm.
grew up with as a single parent. My mother was a single mother. She raised me. She put a lot of structure in my life,
Mhm.
but there was always obstacles. Just going to a private school, and being bullied. You get bullied growing up just because
Mhm.
you have glasses or you have braces. But
Mhm.
I was always the black girl that acted white, so I was always being bullied on that end, as well as having glasses and braces because I wasn't
Mhm.
blessed with great eyesight. Little things, but those are things that you overcome, and I think that helped me help build tougher skin for me. And then
Mhm.
of course, as I got to high school, I was dating, I had interracial relationships and I was bullied for that. um, and then guidance counselors, teachers, coaches who kind of were just like, oh, she'll never make it because she isn't as focused as she needs to be. Or people were always doubting me and counting me out. So I always had to overcome those kinds of obstacles. And the greatest thing was I loved proving people wrong. I was like, you can say all of this and you can speak it into existence, but you're only giving me more power. And so
Mhm.
I always had to deal with people counting me out, but I loved proving them wrong. And then once I switched countries to represent Antigua and Barbuda, it was the obstacle of the culture shock. And
Mhm.
them understanding that I was born in the US, but my father is Antiguan, my mother's Dominican. I have Caribbean blood. That's all I have.
Mhm.
And so when you're trying to balance both worlds of sport, and having a regular life, and then on top of being in an interracial relationship and now being in an interracial marriage, and my mom being Dominican, there's so many different things and so many people having these misconceptions about myself. Those are the kinds
Mhm.
of things that I always had to overcome. Not being signed, and not always being the number, top 10 in the world. These are always things
Mhm.
that are just labels that other people put on me. But I've been competing for since, professionally since 2014, but I've been doing track and field since I was 6. So I know what I'm doing. I knew what my goals were. And I honestly believe that I grow through the struggle. I grow through these instances where people do count me out. And so all of those things, all of those negativities that were put on me or labeled as me, it helped me realize that what other people say about me is none of my business, and what other people are going to label me, has nothing to do with me. And so whatever I label myself and whatever I put out and whatever I represent, that's me. And so being in an interracial marriage, representing Antigua and Barbuda, and not always coming out of, high school or any kind of competition as a gold medalist, but I'm still making headlines. That's just always how it's been. And so it always gives you something to work towards and always makes you work harder. And the biggest thing is working on what's in between my ears and my mental game, and just staying focused, staying ahead of the game, and working on my weaknesses to make me a better female and to make me a better athlete.
With being in an interracial relationships, I know sometimes you have tough topics that y'all can converse about. As we see with America right now, do you and your husband have these type of conversations? And how do you think personally that this is affecting you with all these different protests? Because me and you both are people of color, and we are experiencing so much negative stuff in the world. How do you personally feel with all the changes that are going on in America right now?
To put your first point, my husband and I talk all the time, daily, every single day. He's a history teacher. So he loves talking about it. He loves understanding where I'm coming from, because he always tells me, look, I am not African American. I'm not Black. I don't deal with what you're dealing with, but I know the history. I know what the facts are. And now he sees it a little bit when we go out to dinner, when we go to the mall, when we hold hands, all these little things. Now he's starting to really understand. And I mean, we don't plan on having children, but if we do, we're going to have to talk to our children about these things. And so now it's kind of his priority in a sense. And so we have daily talks. They're not arguments. They're really just conversations. And in certain instances where I don't know dates or certain names, he does. He'll just bring them off and be like, and this is what happened, and this is how. And for me, I'm just like, well, why? And so we have really great discussions on how to, why aren't certain things working, where the white man stands and why they think a certain way, how he was raised, stuff like that. So in that sense, it's been amazing. When it comes to the protests and what's going on today, it is, I say this all the time, I feel that a lot of people feel like we're starting a race war, when in reality, we're trying to end one. And it has been incredible. You know what I mean? To be a part of this history. And of course, I would like to do more and I would like to get involved more. But there are things on my end that I am doing. But to see how I focus on the positive. There's always negative in anything. You know this, there's negative in sports and any industry that you have, there's gonna be negativity, right? So for me, even as an athlete, I have always been like, I'm not going to promote the negativity. I'm not gonna allow that. I'm not gonna keep saying the hater's name, the negative, I'm not going to promote that. My job is to promote education and communication and the positive. Where are we going? What's the main goal of all of this? And I believe that the media has a lot of power, and I understand that, but I think they focused a lot on the negative, and there's so much more good that is happening with all of these protests. And I mean, most recently, NASCAR, the Confederate flag is banned. That's to me, from knowing what NASCAR started and you know what I mean? Like knowing that history, for them to support Black Lives Matter and to support Bubba like that, I think it's a change in the right direction. Now, should we still be fighting for equality? Absolutely not. It should be already here. But I think that throughout the generations, no matter what, there's still a care. And there's still people that are like, you know what, we have to do our part. And I think that's what this generation is doing. We're using what we have. We're using our social media, we're using our voices, we're using our education, and we're keeping our foot on the gas pedal. And I think that's really, really important. So for the protest, I love it. I think fighting for equality, fighting for justice, using our platforms is a blessing. And I think we're doing, as a community, such a phenomenal job. And we're starting to see that it is systemic. It's been there. And now we're calling out people. And yes, it's going to take a while, because I just saw a video of somebody holding the Confederate flag and was just like, I'm going to tell my grandkids to hate you. I'm going to teach my grandkids. And so you're just like, wow, like this is not just a 1 day, a 1 month, a 1 year fight. You know what I mean? And so I hope that we can come to a day where racism is banned, it's illegal, it's something that is just so far in the history books that we can all come together. It will. I truly believe it will happen. And people are always like, oh, well, you're like a saint. You always think the positive. But you have to think of the positive, because I pray that my kids can be in a community and not have to worry about the color of their skin and being targeted. And so I'm starting a foundation with a few other African Americans and white Caucasians, and it's called Unity. And it's really just selling merchandise and with a logo, and it's all the proceeds will go to education of African Americans and Black owned businesses. And so we're really excited about it. And it's something that I think is needed. And I think it opened their eyes to a lot. And so I say that it started with Colin Kaepernick for our generation. And so I think it's beautiful to see. I really do love it. I think it's something that's needed.
So how do you balance your foundation, being an athlete, and then have a marriage? How do you balance all those aspects of life? It's a lot.
It really is. And I'm from New York. We hustle.
Wow.
What we do. We hustle. Like there's not a day like I am married in Wildwood, New Jersey, and it is the chillest place ever. But I've always wanted more. I've wanted to be, my goals, one of them was to be financially independent. I want to be able to give back. That's a really big thing. I've always wanted to give back. And so seeing my mom work as hard as she did, I realized that this is not the time to settle. This is the time that we need to really move forward and do what needs to be done. And so I've taken some steps back to make sure that I have those days where I'm like, okay, I need to schedule time for myself. I need to put my phone away. And this is the time where I need to work. And so in the mornings, I work out and I get my workouts done, and then I come home and I focus on my nutrition and what needs to be done for the day. And then, once work is done and I schedule everything, I get those couple hours in, and then it's me time. Then it's me time. And then if my husband's home and not working, then we can spend time together. We'll go to the beach, we'll go for a walk, we'll go for a bike ride, or we'll just have a beer, sit on the porch and talk history, all that kind of stuff. And so I don't let, again, like I said, I don't let these labels kind of make me stressed in a sense. So for me, I realized that I can only do but so much. And as long as I'm putting forward my best effort, that's all I can truly give. And so I love the balance. I love the grind. So I'm training for the Olympics. I have the Unity Foundation. I'm starting the my previous name, Priscilla Frederick Foundation, for kids to scholarship to get them to school, to private school, as long as they do 2 sports and they keep up a certain GPA. And that's really important to me. I have my own business. So I started a home organization and cleaning business called Flow.
Go ahead now.
Yes. I started that in 2016. And something that I was just like, whatever. And now it's, it's still here. It's still growing and it's great. And so I'm working on the LLC and the insurance and hiring people. And then I started an Instagram live TV show where I interview different celebrities, different athletes, actors, everything, anyone with a great journey story. And I'm loving it. And that's my main goal in life after I retire is I want to work in television and film and, be the first Black female in late night television. And so these are goals that I have. And it's a grind. I don't get, I get tired sometimes, and then I take a break. I want coffee, I'm going to drink coffee. I want a beer, I'm going to drink a beer. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So you balance it. And, college athletics obviously teaches you a lot about time management. My husband is super great, and he started doing the interviews with me, and he wants to, help with the foundation. And, it's a partnership. It's when I got married, I knew that it was more of like a really close friendship than, like ball and chain kind of thing. I'm not ball and chain. I'm not. I'm lit, okay? So yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
So my last question is, what inspiring words could you give people that are going forward towards their dreams, but are having doubts with taking the leap of faith?
So I truly believe that I have so many, I want to say so much, but I want it to be like cool. So
preach it now.
I know, preach it, right? Like, let me I'm correct. Oops, here we go. I honestly have to say is I have been through it, right? All odds were stacked against me, and I didn't listen to negativity. I didn't allow it to affect me. And I knew that I was a hardworking, intelligent female. And I knew that I had to represent myself in a way that I worked towards. All the hours that I put in, all the sacrifices that I made, and everything that I put into bettering myself, I wasn't going to let negative people, negative things, or distractions deter me from where I needed to go. Is every day going to be a breeze? Absolutely not. Are you going to fall? Hell yes. Are you going to feel like shit? Absolutely. Are you going to have no money in your bank account? Amen. Preach. Are you going to have people that doubt you? Amen again. Always going to be people that are going to try and stop you, trying to put fear in your heart, trying to put negativity into your mind. And once that starts happening, know that you're doing the right thing. Know that you're on the right track. And I say, if you can fail, there's a rule. If you can fail 10,000 times to get to that 10,001 to success, that's what you need to do. So every time that there's a roadblock, check it as one. Then another deposit to your bank account of success. And for me, it was either you could do it the microwave way, or you could do it the soul food cooking way. You know what I mean? So things that are made in the microwave, they're not really, they're stuffed with preservatives. It's fake. It's not real wholesome food. You want that filet mignon. You want that good pan-seared, taken time steak. You want the good nutrition in your life. And of course, the microwave way looks real simple, takes a lot quicker, but I promise you that hour long that it takes to make that meal is going to fuel you so much better. Don't take shortcuts. Do what needs to be done for you. Focus on your mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. Forget those that are going to try and stop you. Keep those that love you and want to see you grow and tell you the truth. And don't try to stroke your ego around. That's 5. That's all you got is 5. So keep them close and you'll be successful. Take the leaps of faith. You're gonna feel a little uneasy. But when you know that the end game is something worthwhile that you've been working for, that you know, and you have a passion for, that you are God-given talent to do, just do it. Don't look back. Put on the gas.
Amen to that. I love the interview. And it was definitely a blessing with doing the interview with you. I love your personality.
Thank you.
It's very positive. So I love that about you. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. I think that's the most important. You've got to stay positive. There's so much negativity. So you got to be the light that you want to see. You want to be the change that you want to see. And I'm not going to let negativity spew from me. When people see me, I want them to see light, love, positivity, and happiness. And that's what I got to keep giving every day.
Amen to that. And I look forward to having you on here again. And we'll talk soon. We got to do this again.
Yes, anytime you want. You just call me up. Send that Zoom link and we good to go.
Amen to that. But on this note, got to jet off. Thank you again and definitely have a blessed and productive night.
Thank you. You as well. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right now.